I'm walking home. I mean, you know, now is such a perfect time to tell you all about my memories working with James Bond in the other prop hire company I used to work for, one of four. So I used to work for a company called All Props Limited, from the year 2000 to 2007 when it closed for good. There are two books about the men who started that company up by Peter Benson on Amazon called Tales of a Prop Man. I'm in both books, way! But no, that's not why I plugged it. It's a very interesting read if you're a film buff, and you can get some inside information on the film industry and the film prop making industry. So, James Bond wise, one of the things I wish I'd have got from All Props, because when the company closed down, the boss Peter Benson said, take what you like, don't show me, just take it. So God, we took loads of things, but one of the best things there was a box file that had been used in every single Pierce Brosnan film. On the bottom of it was a label, a Russian label from GoldenEye. On the sides was one side was the Q's workshop from Tomorrow Never Dies. There was also a caviar label on it from The World Is Not Enough, and it went missing. And it's brilliant because you can imagine this box file was used in every single Pierce Brosnan film, and the prop man got the box file, didn't want to remove that label, and just stuck it on another side. So that's been lost to history. We had a lot of the Russian files from GoldenEye there, which were cool. I wish I'd have taken one of those. There were two plastic chainsaws which were for a cut scene from Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies. Is that the one about the newspaper kingpin? Two fake chainsaws. Apparently there was a sword fight between Stamper, the big guy, and Pierce Brosnan, and it was a cut scene. And yeah, so they were quite cool. What else? I know there's more. The little code lock that Pierce Brosnan fries with his mobile phone in God, what one is it? I think it's Tomorrow Never Dies again. We had a lot of stuff from Tomorrow Never Dies. The phone lock that he fries, basically, we used to have that, and we sold that. That went out to a museum in Texas. The last place it was actually used before it got sold was Chucklevision, so that went out to the Chuckle Brothers. I used to have two of Pierce Brosnan's screen used PPKs. I wish I hadn't have got rid of them. One of them looked like a fried old piece of toast that was made of rubber, and the other one was resin. And when I sold them, I had a sneaking suspicion they were from Tomorrow Never Dies. No, The World Is Not Enough. Oh God, I get so confused with these bloody James Bond films. The World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies. It must have been Tomorrow Never Dies. So anyway, I had two of Pierce Brosnan's PPKs. Obviously when I sold them I had a suspicion that they were from James Bond, but I couldn't prove it. Anyway, years later, I know the man who owns those, and it has been confirmed via the serial number that was on the PPKs that they were in fact Pierce Brosnan. So I wish I'd have kept those. I wish I'd have just sold the burnt piece of toast one and kept the really good one. So what else? What other memories from James Bond? In later years I've managed to amass a massive pile of MI6 files from Skyfall. I like James Bond. I'm not a massive fan. I just like the film, so I'm not really that up on the titles. I should have looked all these up, but this is about my memory. Clearly it's not very good when James Bond is concerned. I did find in amongst the bump. Now bump is what they call paperwork, and in the film industry you can hire stacks and stacks, feet and feet of paperwork, and all you've got to do is put your relevant paperwork on top of that pile. In actual fact, paperwork props are my favourite props. So usually what happens is at the end of production, all the really interesting paperwork just gets thrown in that pile and sent back. So we had the script from Tomorrow Never Dies, and that mentioned about a Japanese plane that they used when they were trapped somewhere. But of course that got cut from the film and we never saw any of that, but that was quite interesting. Had the script of that. You see, All Props was set up in 1984 and it was made from, there were four prop men, four of the top prop men in the country, and of course they'd amassed lots of props from different production companies. Prop men are the first people to see everything and the last people to see everything, so you can imagine the stuff they collected. And then of course Pinewood and Shepperton Studios threw a lot of stuff out, so that's what they amassed All Props from. So there were some amazing bits and pieces there, from Hammer Horror, Star Wars, you name it. There were some amazing bits and pieces there. It was actually the boss's brother, Les Benson, who worked, he made sure he worked on all the James Bond films. He loved doing that. So he was the prop man for James Bond. So once again, if he was the first person to get this stuff, he was the last person to have this stuff. So that's why we had a lot of James Bond stuff in our building. God, I wish I'd have kept those PPKs. I know the person who's got them. I couldn't afford to buy it back. No way, considering I got it for free. I think that probably wraps it up from my James Bond memories. I thought there were more, but that's the problem with memories. They fade. But I've mentioned the most important ones, particularly my absolute favourite, which was the box file, blue box file, that had been used in every single Pierce Brosnan James Bond film. Sadly, lost to history. I wish I had that, because that was quite cool. Every corner had a relevant label, and not one prop man was going to destroy that history by ripping it off and sticking another label on it. I will do a video one day on the James Bond paperwork I've got, which is from Pierce Brosnan films and Daniel Craig films, mainly through working in these companies and asking the right people. It's amazing that, you know, the majority of the MI6 files, and even a letter addressed to Miss Moneypenny, because what happens is when a film company is finished with their items, particularly paperwork, they literally just chuck them back onto any company they may have hired from. So of course there was a Moneypenny letter and many MI6 files, and they came back from an IKEA advert. So they had obviously gone out from James Bond, carried on in circulation in the prop houses, and ended up in an IKEA advert, and then came back to the third prop hire company that I worked for. I think that may be it on James Bond. Yes, I keep pausing this to try and rack my brains for any more James Bond memories, but I think that probably is it. I'm still going to end with, I wish I kept that Pierce Brosnan PPK, or at least one of them. Anyway, look after yourselves, take care, and I shall see you soon. No, can't think of anything else. Now that was one more final pause just in case, but I think I've depleted that. I've depleted those memories. So anyway, yes, take care. See you soon.